told the rest of the story, how about the Spurs?
Yeah, I've heard that.
You cut that off a little short.
Oh, well, what was it, Bob?
Well, the fellows were out on roundup, but they just rounded up the cattle out on the plains, and they was on roundup. And that evening, just about supper time or about dusk, why these 6 Spaniards came riding into the camp. And the horses were pretty well beat, and they wanted to know if they could eat supper, which of course in those days was just courtesy to anybody that came through a chuck wagon. They had them eat, and so they got off their horses and ate supper with them. And which one was it? One of your uncles admired the spurs, or was it your dad's?
Rich.
Okay,
Uncle
Rich.
Rich.
Admired the spurs of this one big heavy-set Mexican fella, and he was riding an unusually large horse because he was a large Mexican, and he admired the spurs. And so they went on, and then the fellas asked if they could spend the night. So old boy said, well, sure, throw your bunk down or your bedrolls and spend the night. And so they did, and turned the horses in with the remuda to graze during the night and freshen up a little bit. And then in the morning, why, when they was eating breakfast, why, Rich again mentioned the spurs. And so they ate breakfast, and then the Mexicans asked if they could get some beans and stuff to take with them, if they needed some supplies, and they were just going through the country, so they said. And so they gave them some supplies, and when they got ready to mount up, why, this heavy-set fella took off his spurs and gave them to Rich. And he thanked him and offered to pay for him. Didn't have much money or anything, but he offered to pay for him. The Mexican said, no, you've been real nice to us and gave us groceries. Said, you just keep the spurs. So they took off, and then along that evening, then, why, here comes a posse of about 12, 14 riders coming in. And they rode into the camp and wanted to know if they'd seen any of these Spanish riders going through. And they told them, yeah, they spent the night with us last night. And they said, well, they're wanted for bank robbery up in Kansas. And the posse was chasing them. Said, how far are they ahead of it? And they said, well, at least 12 hours now, because they spent the night and they left here early this morning, right after sunup. And so I don't know whether the posse went on looking for them or not, but they were far enough, 12 hours, they'd be away down from Raton down toward Wagon Mound or down in that area, headed for the Rio Grande River to get back into Old Mexico. But that's where the Spurs came
That's where
from.
they did. Now, Bob...
Isn't that right? I mean, that's the story they always told me.
I didn't hear all the story. Bob knows more than I do about it, because he used to visit with the uncles all the time.
Oh, yeah. They were always very courteous. All of the miners and all of the prospectors were real courteous. I don't know why. When my brother and I were just young kids, we could go by their cabin, take them flour, sugar, tobacco, go in and visit with them. They'd always have you to a meal or whatever. If we went fishing up to the lakes, they always asked us to bring them fish down, and they'd fix up the biscuits, and we'd have fish and eat with them in the evening. And we did.
And that was up on the up Placer Creek, you see, when they had their cabin up
On the Golden Treasure.
Treasure.
Well, how did the posse say that was Pancho Villa?
Yeah, they said it was Pancho Villa. And so they assumed that the
Villa.
heavy-set Mexican must have been Pancho Villa. That's right. He was Pancho Villa and his 5 other, there were 6 of them. There was
6 of them.
All together, and the other were just nondescript Mexican, big white sombreros, Spanish Mexican saddles on their horses,